All right, welcome back. Welcome back to our Black Media Network. We are in a new year, 2025. We have not done the Watch Dogs podcast, I don't believe, for a couple of months. We took some time off to regroup, to plan, to think through some ideas, and I don't know where my co-hosts are, but the show must go on. We are in a different year. It is January 2025. And Happy New Year to our viewers. We hope that your new year have started off great. Uh, we do know we do know that in a week we have a new administration entering the White House. We do know that we have some real crazy weather going on in the South. It's a little cold, and it's sad to say, but we also have a catastrophe in California, and so it's a lot going on. You just got to keep your eyes open and your vision clear, and be prepared for anything. So hey, we're gonna make it through 2025. Our topic today, we'll get to it, but we're going to talk about this thing called boundaries. The title we entered was Expectations, Youth, and Family. And our co-host Chandra created this particular topic, and maybe she will join us later, but I'll get to that in a moment. We wanted to begin today with birthday shout outs. The founder and CEO of the network. The purpose for these podcasts, and many that we have throughout every week, is celebrating a birthday. So we'll give Julius Hall a shout out. His birthday was this past week, and so we're excited about that. All of those other January babies who are celebrating, happy birthday to you all. We're just delighted that you could make it another year, and that excited that you all could be with us this morning. We send our prayers out to our friends in California. If you watch anything, if you're connected to the news or the radio, you do know that they're experiencing some real troubling times. Before we hop into our topic today, I want to remind everyone that we have a new radio station that we hope that you can join us on. Hot 2100 Savannah. That radio station is up and going. The one thing that's different about Hot 2100 than any other radio station, you can hear this radio station around the world. It's an app. So you go to your app, wherever you go to your apps, and you'll download Hot 2100 Savannah. So you want to get that app. You want to download that. Very soon we'll be having a whole range of conversations, talk shows, music. And the beautiful thing about it, it's just not one genre of music. And so Hot 2100 Savannah is breaking barriers. It's a different type of broadcast. And most importantly, you won't hear music that's degrading, that is not uplifting. It's only about good, strong, pure music that's it doesn't downgrade one culture or make people look bad. So we're excited about that. With that, we'll hop into our topic. And I hope my co-hosts join us this morning. But we got this topic, you all, about expectations, youth, and family, because we were talking. Our co-host Chandra was talking about how youth today, a number of young people today, don't necessarily have the same values or parameters and how they navigate and operate with their parents or elders, right? And so I'll give you a great example. We'll sometimes notice young people in particular, and we're a lot of times when we're talking to you all, we're talking about the African American or Black community, but this ranges, right? You don't necessarily see the same character in some young people, and there's a good number, good evidence, strong evidence that suggests that young folks don't necessarily have the same value that past generations have had in regards to respecting elders, listening to parents, curfews, understanding the value of what mom and dad say, and that can come for things. We all do know that. A lot of times people emulate what they see, or that there's some type of trauma, or for some odd reason they follow their peers, or whatever that may be. However, there was a time when, as young people, you wouldn't necessarily come out of your mouth sideways, or regardless of what your parents did or what you noticed or what you saw, you didn't necessarily emulate that because there was a level of respect in the house. And so we'll get into that in a moment. We're glad to have, oh my goodness, we're glad to have you. Hello. Do we wake you up?
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Well,
No, I
wherever we
wasn't
are.
necessarily asleep. Just like them old folks, I just had my eyes closed.
Okay. Okay. Well, was it a good week? We know you had you back at work.
Oh no, I have been down bad all week.
Wow. Really?
I haven't been back to work from New Year. Oh,
Really?
sick.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
What was it? Respiratory or?
Basically, I had an upper respiratory infection that they couldn't tell me what was.
No, I get it. I get it. And I
But
tell you why I get it. Same thing happened to me the first week of December, and honestly, I didn't get well, and I already suffered with asthma, but I didn't get well until literally right before New Year's. So I get it.
I could barely talk. I ain't gonna say all that, but I just know I wasn't able to do my normal duties of conquering y'all children on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to sit out for the whole week, and it was much needed to stay home. And I'd rather be, because like I tell people, I can never be like, I can never forgive myself if I was to go back to work and do like somebody else I knew, and they tried it because they was forcing themselves to do it, and they wind up succumbing to their own illness.
Wow. Well, no, and that's the safe thing. One, you don't want to get sicker, but two, you don't want to get those young people sick. And it is what it is. It is what it is. But I don't know if you remember, we had this conversation when we were doing the planning meeting, and so Chandra brought up this topic about expectations to youth and family. And so my whole thought process around everything, and I was just getting into it when you logged on, was this idea of boundaries and how not only with family, and we'll get more into everything, but how this generation now is not so, I don't know what word I want to use, is not so tied into following norms of respect. And that comes from a different number of things, but I'll just let you kind of talk on it for a minute.
I want to say, can we say that the norms change and values change from generation to generation? Because, well, I want to make sure that when I say this that I'm correct. Your parents are boomers, correct?
Well, they were in the 90s, so I don't know what.
Now, man, your parents are the silent. I'm gonna say they're probably the silent, more so the silent generation than the boomers.
Yeah, they came from I would say the industrialization era, whatever the hell that is.
The silent generation, which is everybody who doesn't know, the silent generation is the generation before the boomers. My parents are boomers, so we grew up on, they were raised on different values, from a different standpoint in time. So what is actually taught is actually not what's is different now. Because I know that I hear a lot of people who were millennials who have kids in school now, which is the same generation why we say they don't have no respect anymore. They have the mentality of, oh, how my parents treated me, I'm not going to treat my kids and this, that, and the third. But a lot of that, what our parents taught us, is what made us who we are today.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to think about that, because one generation can genuinely, I'm not gonna say punish, but I will say not tarnish, but change how the next generation instills the same values. But the one thing that we must always remember is we moved away from the key aspect of what makes the community a community, which is community.
That's true.
We are a people who thrive on community, and its community is slowly graduating away because families don't like families don't like families no more.
Right.
We don't want to be around each other, but everybody got to remember, you still need family, regardless of not whether you say it or not. At some level, some form of fashion.
Yeah, and I think we'll after our break, we'll turn the corner around boundaries, because I agree. You know, even in the Black community, you know, and even in certain in certain communities, you'll have disagreement with people. But at the same time, it's one, you know, I'll never forget, you know, I might disagree with you, but don't let somebody else from the outside come in and think they're gonna just have their way or whatever. But let me go back to that thing about the parent-child relationship. There has been, I think, a blurred line. And you know, this is worth talking about, where when I was coming up, I was very mischievous. I have always had an interesting way of communicating what I felt like saying, and got disciplined for that. But when that discipline came, it very much signaled to me that you are not the authority figure. And I knew when to back down, and I knew when to not cross that line. I don't know young people now have that same understanding that there's a cutoff. And you know, our co-host just went through something where one of her children, where you know that young man didn't understand the cutoff and could have almost lost his life, literally. And so I don't know what happened along the way where young people felt like there was a shared power, a shared governance. But in the house I grew up in, you might have said or did something, but you got your behind toe up or disciplined in a way that if you thought you were going to rear back, you could have ended up in a box. I mean, I don't mean that literally, but there was some signals that say you might want to chill out.
Parents, Junior, and then too, like I'm gonna have to hold the person who needs to be held accountable the most, which is the parents, because parents condone the behavior of their children way entirely too much from what it should be condoned. I can remember and I know you remember this, back in the day when we were in school, we had a fear of anybody from the schoolhouse calling a parent and telling them that you were cutting up or acting up in school, on the bus, or somewhere out and about. Not today. Not today. Called now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say this to all parents, because I have a couple of parents who I can call them while they child in action, and they doing.
Like, look, see,
they said they doing what? I say, yeah, they doing this. I was like, don't worry about it. I handle it as soon as. Don't worry about it. I've got it as soon as they get on. And
right. I'll be waiting on them to go.
And I'll give y'all story time. One time, this primary example this year. You know where I drive for? I ain't gonna say what school I drive for, but just know who I drive for.
It's a challenging area. So
the little girl, she was acting up on the bus. She thought I was playing. So call your mom. But this gonna be your first. This gonna feel your first dose of punishment for something. So I called her mom and told her what she was doing. Her mom went off. What? Okay, that one of them parents. I guarantee the next morning she brought her to their bus stop and let me know. Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm acting parent. Okay, I see you. I'll never have to worry about her. All I gotta do is call your mom. She said, "Don't do that. Don't do that, please." Oh, I know, but it's genuinely involved. It needs more parental activity. Like the one thing, like I say, it's coming. It's midterm It's like midway through the school semester. There's no reason for you now to just be concerned about your child's grades. Technically, you should have been concerned that their progress report that you probably didn't check or that they probably didn't show you.
Right.
Power school, like I said, technology has made it so easy for you to communicate with teachers because now we made it where to say it is a safety concern. Because some of y'all parents be going on. I watch it. Some parents genuinely go up there to beat on, not physically, but beat on the teacher because they feel like the teacher not doing what they supposed to do. Them teachers ain't lying on your kids. Your kids doing exactly what them teachers saying they doing.
Yeah, yeah. And it's hard to hear that your child is messed up. But sometimes your child, hell, watch this. Sometimes you, the parent, messed up. Ain't nobody perfect, and children gonna be kids. Hell, adults are worse than kids. I'll never forget. My mother was a teacher, which was part of my problem. So she already knew. Well, you know, she already knew how I was. So there wasn't this mystery that I was just gonna go to school and be this different person. But not only did I go to school and perform the way I perform always, by the time I got to third grade, there was a teacher there, another black teacher who knew mama, and first day of class this is when you could paddle children, pull the paddle out and say, your mama said I can make sure you act right. And so this, you know, back then it was a federation of teachers that black teachers hung out and knew each other. So I was like, oh, you ain't no joke. But I don't understand, you know, one of the things I will say that I think we have lost is that there are no boundaries. There's lack of boundaries. And so one of the things I remember is if I didn't have homework, no, let's back up. We're good. Let's never mind the report called the progress report. Every day, if there was no homework, you at least gonna sit down and do something out them books. You're gonna read something, you're gonna write something, and then I want to see that progress report. I'll never forget, Carlson, I got an F one. I never got an F a day in my life. After that, I got an F in social studies. I was gonna get out the bus. We were gonna go to McDonald's. I had to be in middle school. Baby, she took a beeline right to this house and gone to your room. So, you know, I don't, you know, I implore upon our parents to just check in on a daily basis. It's nothing to spend 10 minutes to say, go read 10 pages and come back and tell me what you learned. But a lot of times the parental engagement is just at an all-time low. And in some areas. We know it's not widespread, and I don't want to be generalizing, but that's got to be a little stronger in some areas.
But you know that the response that parents are giving now to that very statement, what you were saying is parents have this notion of now that, and I've heard, I'm not gonna say I heard a lot, but I've heard a couple of them say this, that they feel like the kids they're only home for 4 hours a day. There's like, that's our time. They've been at school all day. If they can't do this in school, then why are you sending it home? Because I genuinely, your child ain't get it in school. That's why the teachers in their home. They need help, and you just don't want to help them. That's just all it is. I know you don't want to. If Johnny had 5 apples like your mama did, but some of y'all cheering if Johnny had 6 apples. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Because when you ask them what simple words, I can remember some of the words that I learned year and like early on. Y'all kids can't comprehend. And it's sad.
I will say this. One of the things that I say a lot, and it is going to anger people. I don't really care about that. But, you know, you're going to either invest in a human being on the front end and make sure they learn and go to school and get an education, or you going to invest in them on the back end when they're in prison and jail because they didn't want to learn and do all that. You make the choice. I mean, the evidence is out there. You be mad all you want, call me whatever you will, but the evidence is out there. And if you don't want to invest in your child, first of all, schools ain't no daycare. Let's just be real. And if you think a child is going to learn everything to master certain skills in 8 hours a day, then you're a fool. And you should have kept your legs closed or used a condom. And since you did not do that, you got to take the time to put yourself aside and get your child ready for life. So I digress on that. Let's go to a little break. We'll come back and we're going to talk about boundaries, because I think a lot of this too is there's some boundary issues, and we'll expand that to other areas of our lives. But hold tight. We'll be right back.
Hey there. Are you ready to amplify your voice and embrace your passion? Tune in to Our Black Media Network, where community comes first and every story matters. We're here 24/7, delivering powerful content on everything from financial literacy to the latest in sports and mental health. We are unapologetically real, reflecting the heartbeat of our community with programs that inspire, empower, and drive change. Join us on all major media platforms to celebrate our unique voices and advocate for the change we want to see. With over 50K monthly viewers, our network is your go-to destination for authentic, engaging content. Be a part of the movement. Be a part of the change. Tune in to Our Black Media Network today and let your voice be heard.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
One Price Cleaners, they're really good. I actually have shifted my cleaning services to them. So check them out. They're over there by the Old Farmers Market in Garden City. But let me, as we open up our second segment, let me play this clip, and I'll play a few more. What just happened? Let me find it real quick. What happened to my clip? Let me see. I'll tell you. Sometimes. Oh, now there it is. Let me see if I can find it. You all hold tight. Here we go. Here she is.
This message is for people who want to hold boundaries with your family, but you don't want to cut them off completely yet. Think about doing this. There are cordial boundaries, meaning you stay cordial with them. Usually you use this whenever you go to a family event, a family function, and you keep it cordial. You keep it light, very topical, but just remember, they're not going to like this because most toxic family members, they relish in drama. They don't know what peace is like, so they're going to create a bunch of mayhem. Coming in very calm and cordial, it may trigger them. However, you have the power to end the conversation. You also have the power to leave. Stay tuned for another tip on how to hold boundaries with toxic family members.
All right. What are your thoughts on boundaries?
This message is for people who want
quintessential. Everybody. Especially family. Family will take when it comes. Family will be the main ones to abuse your boundaries and be mad. Let me say it like this. If you're one of those people who have been a people pleaser and then all of a sudden you pop up with boundaries, your family gonna be pissed off with you. Because they be like, well, what? Well, who paid that? That's a uppity. That's a you think you better than everybody else. I can't use this. Oh, you ain't got time. No, I don't.
Right. I don't.
I will say I love my family. I love my family to death and beyond, and the ones beyond. And all of them respect my boundaries because everybody know at the 10 o'clock everybody know at the 9 o'clock, leave me alone. Don't talk to me, don't call my phone. Because unless it's an emergency or something unless I told you to call me at that time. Because that's just like respect. Anybody it simply just comes down to respect. If you can't respect the person telling you that, hey, I don't like this, don't cross this line, don't do this, you don't respect that person. And you don't need that person in your life if you can't simply value them for what they're asking you to do.
This one of our viewers, Fami, do you think people also use boundaries not to deal with issues?
I'm gonna say yeah. That's a definite yeah. Because Sometimes it's better let sleeping dogs lie. Because depending on what the situation actually is, it might cause a whole nother rift somewhere in some other aspect. And sometimes you want to keep your peace, and setting that boundary is how you keep the peace. Because sometimes the headache is just absolutely not worth it. Because if you don't set that boundary, and then it's something that bothers you, and you come back to that issue, and especially if it's especially something that deep down you've worked past it. You've been to therapy, you've talked to whoever you need to talk to, and you've been like you decided the best thing was to set this boundary. Like, we're not gonna talk about it. We're gonna set this over to the side. We're gonna never bring this up no more because it's too stressful. Leave that boundary there. Don't worry about what people think. And if somebody got an issue with your boundary, tell them to lick something.
Pick apart. You know what they know. You know, with that question, and as you were talking, I was thinking about this. I think I'll speak for me. The older I get, the more I how do I want to say it? I don't establish boundaries, but I respect them in a different way. And so, for example, there was a time when, and I'll use this, you have to self-reflect one. And when you self-reflect and you understand where you are in position to the spaces you enter, you start to move differently. And that's not a bad thing. And so, for example, I'm not big on confrontation around negative issues unless there is an outcome that's going to benefit the individuals involved or a greater good. And so I'll use an example. If I say something and a person is offended because their feelings were hurt, I'm not going to establish time to talk to you about that because I don't care about that. I don't want to use the word I don't care. I'm not going to invest time to have a encounter because you are uncomfortable with words when you probably need to do some self-reflection yourself. But if I make a decision that hurts something or a person doesn't understand, then okay, we can engage in that conversation. So what I'm saying is I'm not going to invest precious time and stuff based on another person's inability to do their own self-reflection. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but anything that, and I'll use this, anything that is negative or comes off as a negative space, I'm not even going to deal with that. And that's just a boundary I've set for myself over time. I also am very keen on, let's say somebody comes to me and say, child, let me tell you, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't have time for that. How is that uplifting and making the world better? I don't care about what the next person did. I don't care what they said that was negative. So, those are kind of boundaries I've set the older I've gotten. Now, some people may have words and things for that. I don't know, but I just don't do that. I just don't.
I ain't gonna sit here and say like I'm sitting when they hit me with that, child. Let me tell you, depending on who the person is, I might have to sit there and say, what's up? What happened? Because sometimes depending on the person who it is, you already know you might have had the most foul move for that whole day. And that one person call you and hit you with that, child, let me tell you. And you just know you about to cackle and laugh, and your whole dopamine level about to shoot through the roof because you about to be in a good mood because they about to say you something that you just like, why'd you call me with this foolishness? It may, like I say, now I do have certain people when they hit me with that, the child, let me tell you, I be like, I don't even want. If it's certain people, I look at my phone now. Yeah. And this is to anybody who listens to me who know. If you know me, Carson will not answer the phone. I will sit there and look at your phone call and not answer it.
I ain't gonna lie to that.
I don't have the energy to dispose into this conversation at the moment. I will return your call when I have the energy. Now, if that means I got to return your call next week, I'm gonna return it next week. Especially if you want to especially one of the ones who like the extra bar of money. Everybody will ignore that phone call.
First of all, I can't even do it. I don't have the means to do it. I'm gonna tell you something my daddy told me a long time ago about money. If you can't afford to give it away, don't lend it. And I can't afford to give anything away at this point in my life. So I don't even. It's a no. It's a
mouthful. But I can't remember who told me that made that very same statement to me. And ever since then, I have held that notion to it. If I can't give it to you and still be fine and not worry about it, I'm not going to lend it to you. Because the one thing I know, people love to borrow money and hate to pay it back.
Never mind. Let me tell you something. I tell folk all the time. I can't call Georgia Power and say, let me borrow a week off. I'll pay you next week. I can't call the city of Savannah and say, I'm not going to pay my water bill this week. Let me pay it next week. I can't call Capital One and say, you know what? I'm just not going to pay you this week. I'm going to pay you next week. No, that's not going to work like that because it's going to be called a fee. And so before I even put myself in that foolish situation, let me use my common sense and know that once I dispose of this cash that I don't have to dispose in the first place, can I work without that? And the answer is no. So I'm not going to be mad at me for making a decision I knew I shouldn't have made in the first place. It is what it is. I'm sorry you locked up. Let me get your debit card. I'll get you out.
I don't do prison pen pals.
I don't know what to tell you.
You know, I have the certain, like when people be like, because this be the thing. I have watched how resourceful some of them, some of those people become. And I feel like I tell people, I can't remember what show, like the movie it came from. Like that lady said back then, she said, if I had to get up and work for mine, you better get up and work for yours. I work hard for mine. And stop. And the one thing I want people to do, if you have a friend, family member who you know they have a good job, the money that they make, they worked hard to make it because they want to spend their money. It is not because they want to give it to you because you decided that you didn't want to work as hard. Or I'm gonna call, I'm gonna call because cuz work so and so, so they got it like that. I mean, let me go ahead and ask them. Cuz gonna tell your ass no. Cuz ain't got them a damn self. Because the one thing, like I tell people, people who work hard like that, they gonna spend their money. And some of the people who work hard like that spend money like they sell dope. Let the people spend money like they sell dope.
Yeah, hey. The one thing I've never understood, speaking of money and budgeting, and I'm not the best with my own personal budget, but my thing is, if you got XYZ bill coming in, car payment, Georgia Power, light bill, whatever bill, and you go eat out every day, and you do this, that, and the third, and then you turn around and be like, I ain't got enough. That's on you. And then turn around and get mad. I've seen this happen to somebody dealing with a family member, and they get mad when the person won't lend you no money. How you mad? You need to be mad at yourself for being a dummy. You can't. My thing is this. Everybody lives in a different privilege bracket. I get that. At the same time, I understand everybody don't have the same access to privilege. I get that. But you got to be able to maneuver within the coins you have, or you just going to have to find the time to put yourself in a privileged situation by looking for opportunities that's going to give you that cash. It is what it is. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I know I would love, I kid you not, I would love to be driving that the big body Benz, but I ain't got it like that. I would love to go to Dubai next week. I ain't got it like that. But I do have it like going to maybe Jacksonville or Atlanta. That's what my coin tell me right now. So we just, and this is been an issue within various communities. But when we talk to the Black community, we, what gets me going back to the child and the parent, I don't understand, and folk about to get real pissed. I don't understand how parents who are within a fixed income situation will bend to children to make sure they have on clothes and shoes that are way more expensive than their monthly utilities, just so the child can be happy. That mind boggles me.
That goes back to earlier when I said that notion of the parents used to tell them, no, you can't afford that. I can't do that. You can't go there. So now they have a child. The child they have decided, I'm not going to do what my parents did. Whatever my child wants, my child gets. And they wind up in these situations where the kids got all of this stuff and they really didn't have to, they don't do nothing for it. They don't go to school. They barely go to school. They misbehave. They don't do what they're supposed to do. I legitimately, we go back to Christmas time, legitimately watch the parents say, she asked the kids what they wanted for Christmas. The kids gave her a list. It was simple stuff. She's like, she hadn't finished that, but she felt like she hadn't done enough because she buy them stuff all through the year. And I was like, well, that sounds like a personal problem. Because me personally, I would love that. What you want? Oh, that's all you want? Oh, okay. Get that, and go on about my day. Spend the rest of my money on myself. Or put it towards something that needs to be done. But the one thing I'll say about people, when they, especially like everybody, if you know me, you know I have a travel schedule.
Okay.
A schedule, period. If it's something that you want me to do, everybody knows they will hit me up as early as they can as soon as they find out about it, because they know I'm one of those people who I plan a lot. I plan stuff out months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
That gives me time to know, okay, I have this coming out. I have this. I got to pay for this. It's a set schedule for how to pay for all of this stuff. It's more so me trying to be an adult, me being organized. The one thing I tell people, don't ask me about no last minute plans.
Yeah,
I hate last minute plans. Because if I had plans to sit on my sofa and not do nothing, and you call me talking about, all you do, I'm not going. And this is genuinely not because I don't like it, because this is planned the rest of the weekend. Yes, it is. And don't get me wrong. If we made some local plans and you decide, I'm busy or I'm tired, baby, don't never feel bad about canceling on Carson. Carson gonna put on his bonnet and rub his feet and turn on my and rub my feet together real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about boundaries. And like my schedule, like people know that is one of my boundaries about my time. That's how I govern a lot of my time, because I'm going to go to work. And when I'm not at work, I might want to do something. I might not. I have my weekends when I have this, I'm going to be busy. And I have somewhere I just want to sit at the house. But that is a boundary that I set with everybody who knows me. I don't do too much spur of the moment stuff, because spur of the moment stuff can sometimes be expensive. And you might not have spur of the moment stuff. Plan stuff, you can plan to do some stuff. Or you say, I don't have that in the budget right now.
Yeah, and I'm at the place now. I'll be honest with you. I my thing this year, I think I posted on Facebook, was self-reflection, travel, and something else I put on there. But anyway, people need to learn, especially parents and all that. Make yourself happy. And like me, I'm big on doing some international traveling this year. In fact, Haiti is on my list. France is on my list.
Haiti is not a good place to go right now.
Well, I mean, like, I'm gonna do a cruise to Haiti, not going.
Don't even cruise to Haiti.
It's a little too late for that.
RGI. Listen here.
It's already paid for.
I want to see your ass on Dr. World News talking about Dr. RG Brown. They got too much turmoil going on today.
it's a private island that this particular cruise line has. So, you know, it is what it is. But you know, I stay on the damn ship. But anyway, but yeah, my thing is, you know, travel, and just enjoying myself. And so what that means is, what I'm telling people is, you know, it's fine. It's fine to be able to help people and to be in place to make your young people happy. And there's a limit to that. But let me read this list out real quick, and we'll close out with this. But why is it important to set boundaries? 1, you get to feel safe and respected. You build trust. You prevent burnout. You prioritize your needs. Communicate assertively. It helps you communicate more assertively, and you have productive conversations. So, what are your takeaways from that list?
That list is actually quite accurate, because I'm gonna say go back through it again so I can make sure I gathered my thoughts together.
So, feel safe and respected. Build trust. Prevent burnout, prioritize your needs, communicate assertively, and have productive conversations.
And that's true, because boundaries make you feel safe because it gives you a sense of control. It gives you a sense of control to something that you might not know. The burnout is real. And if you actually, and if y'all believe me, just go to YouTube and pull up stories of like corporate burnout will be the best example, like how you learn. But family, any people, genuinely, you can be burnt out. And at a certain point in time, when you burn out, you just got to be like, okay, I need a break. Because either you're going to take that break or that break going to take you.
Right.
Because what you have to fail to realize is burnout is linked to your health. Because when you experience burnout, most of the time your health can be in a hole. And you sick and you not even realizing you sick. That's why I have to tell people, you have to know your nerve, know your norm. And people, go to the doctor. You should be, them people give you an annual physical for a reason. Go get your annual physical every year. You should be your yearly physical. That's your blood draw up, stuff like that. Asking your doctor any and every question that you feasibly can. Yeah. To make sure that you are healthy. Because, and especially while, like I'm 32 at this point in time. And the one thing, like I tell people, I avidly go to the doctors. Because you go now, that way you have a detailed history while you're young. So once you get to a certain point in age, you don't have to worry about going back to like your doctor see down the road, oh, this person wasn't going to the doctor here, so why are we worried about it? They tend to not be worried, because they're like, well, we can only start from where you're here and stuff is going wrong. Instead of you having going from a clean bill of health, and we can see what started to happen. Right. That's right. The productivity makes it much more better. Your productivity is amazing when you have a boundary. But like I said, as far as this year, more certifications. I don't even know what the next certification about to be, but I'm pretty sure by the end of 2020, by the end of 2025, I will yet have another certification. I don't even know what I'm gonna do it, but just probably have another one.
Well, one of the things in this list that they talked about too, you have different examples of boundaries, and one that we saw recently with Mother Kamala Harris, the House of Harris. But Kamala is about, I'm going to talk about a physical boundary when people don't like to be touched. But this particular instance, I think, was just rude as all get out. We talked about it on the Rabble Wednesday, but Kamala was swearing in a senator. I guess she was Republican. I don't know, but she's a white woman with a white husband. And she shook the senator's hand when she swore in, and then she went to shake the husband's hand. He wouldn't shake her hand. And I understand physical boundaries, but my thing is, there's a level of common sense we got to exercise and just rudeness. What are your thoughts on that?
I saw that clip. And you know, I'm gonna say it like this: she handled that with grace and poise, as she should. Mm-hmm. She didn't dwell on it. She didn't say anything to him about it. She addressed it once, and she said, "I'm not about to let it worry me. Y'all shouldn't let it worry y'all neither. That's a snap. Let it go." Mm-hmm. I know me, being the person that I am. I would have waited till we got off that camera and said, "What the fuck wrong with you?"
Right. You ain't gonna shake my hand, Byron.
I'm like, you got a problem touching my hand?
Right.
I said, "You big mad or something?" Because if you paid attention, somebody showed the clip of like the same senator getting sworn. I guess Congressman Senator 1 or 2. I guess she got sworn in while Trump. Yeah, she got sworn in while Pence was vice president, and that man gave a completely he shook his hand, whoop-de-woo.
Yeah.
Look like he's supposed to do. So it just tells you, it just comes down to it that some people need to be smacked up a little bit, let them know that this is not the way of the world no more. I don't give a damn. I don't care. But you know, at the same time, sometimes sometimes you got to take the high road. Me, all times, I'm not gonna take the high road. Sometimes when they go low, go to
hell. Don't tear them down, but we're gonna be out of here. Remember to download Hot 2100 Savannah. I don't know if you know about this, Carlton, but it's an app. It's an extension of our podcast with Hot 2100 Savannah. Download that app, and we will be back next Saturday. We're going to tell Chandra up for not being here, but we'll get her back here next Saturday. So everybody have a good week, and we out of here. Any last comments from you?
Peace be still. I want y'all to know, like our good Judy Kamala Harris said, is we still got work to do. We still got work to do. Remember that just because the federal is over, that we still got work to do at the local. I want y'all to start thinking about now the people who y'all want to put in place in the upcoming years. Stay safe. It's a lot of sickness going on here. Take your vitamins and be well. Be merry. Do stuff that you never done. It's 2025, baby. It's time to live your life. If you ain't lived it, do something you ain't never done.
That's it. All right. See you next time.
I like that.